Now, Camphill Dunshane in Brannockstown will be celebrating its 40th anniversary with a special open day on Thursday, October 23rd from 12 noon until 4. The event will be a community celebration with performances from Nace Men's Shed, Camphill's own choir and the Dunshane Drama Group, which is a part of their community in Dunshane. There will also be craft stalls, bake stalls, fun games area, a bric-a-brac with a few possible surprise performances. And John Sheridan, Head of Services at Camphill, joins me in studio to chat more about Camphill and its 40th anniversary. Congratulations on 40 years at Camphill. That's a great achievement for yourselves. I suppose before we get into the celebrations, can you let listeners know more about Camphill Communities and the work you do?
Yeah, certainly, Hannah, and I'm sure a lot of people around Kildare will know of Camphill and will have heard of it over the years, and many people will have either known or interacted with service users or staff or volunteers over the years. So we're obviously based in Dunshane, is where our national office is, in Brannockstown, and they will also know we have another site at the bridge in Kilcullen as well, beside the Chairman Cafe, and we support adults with intellectual disabilities and other support needs. So in Dunshane we have 14 service users actually live there permanently. Also 27 community users come on a daily basis to our daycare, and we very much operate on a community spirit of empowering our community users and empowering their abilities through different activities and arts and crafts and other work placements as well, to support their independence in life and that community spirit and a sense of belonging for them all.
Of course. And who were the founders of Dunshane and kind of what inspired them to start this community work?
Yeah, so it was originally an international movement from Scotland, and locally it was set up by local volunteers, and it was set up actually on a 23-acre farm in Dunshane, and that was very much around supporting the belonging of community users, and that each community user would contribute through their own work and empowerment in Dunshane. Over that time it obviously developed from being volunteer led, and over the years, as people know, through HICWA and regulation, it's obviously had to become an awful lot more professional in its outlook and its regulation. So over that time, obviously new staff have been brought on board, and now Dunshane is our national head office for across our 16 sites across the country now as well. The other thing just to say as well, people will both know our local community users from seeing them around the area, will have interacted with them, and we very much want to extend the invite for Thursday to any community users past and present, to any volunteers past and present, and any staff members past and present. This is their call, this is their invite to come along, and even other people who maybe didn't know as much about Camphill before today, they're also most welcome to come along on Thursday as well.
Absolutely, and I mean 40 years is an amazing achievement to be able to celebrate that, and I'm sure you are also excited for it. But in those 4 decades, has there been any changes? Like, what has been the kind of momentous occasions for yourselves, and what have you seen change over the years at Dunshane?
Yeah, certainly. Look at, and I even saw very funny with a presidential election this week. I think President Patrick Hillary visited in the late 80s, so he very much endorsing it at that time. I suppose over that time the biggest change has been in terms of the regulation and the professionalisation, and just confirm we have full HICWA accreditation for all of our campuses, including Dunshane. So that's been a very important assurance to our community users and their families and support network. One of the other big things in more recent years has been around work placement, and I really want to compliment all those local businesses, and I'll name check a couple of them, who have both given our community users work experience and led them on to full employment as well. That's really important in their empowerment and their journey, and so many of our community users have said the sense of satisfaction and achievement it gives them to empower them to get up and go to a job every day, and the fulfilment of that is very important. So that's probably where the journey has gone. And I suppose the journey is only 40 years is a great start. We very much want Dunshane to continue and grow, and even over the last few months we've done huge investments in our physical premises around Dunshane as well to mark the 40th anniversary.
Of course. And what would a typical day look like for your residents and the co-workers there at Dunshane? Yeah, so look, in terms of the day services, obviously I mentioned about 27 day services, so a whole mixture of different activities in arts and crafts. So I mentioned candle making, weavery, basketry, pottery, using state-of-the-art equipment that we would have, and even some of the produce that they've produced on site in Dunshane will be on sale at the market on Thursday as well. So I suppose that shows very much the proof is in the pudding in terms of what they have delivered. There's also a whole wide range of other activities in both our Kilcullen site and nearby in our Dunlavin site as well. Everything in terms of work placements, horse riding, swimming, and lots of other activities that are
put an offer. So I'm sure there's lots of people around Naas and Newbridge who will recognise our community users and have very much seen them around both towns in recent years.
And looking then ahead to Thursday, what kind of celebrations and events will be taking place for the open day?
Yeah, so look, all are welcome to come to Dunshane. It's only a few minutes outside Naas, and look, we'll have live music, we'll have a barbecue, we'll have food available as well, we'll have raffles, some special guests, and I suppose most importantly for our community users, selling the produce they're producing. That just shows you, and having I suppose met so many of the community users as well, they're absolutely brilliant, they're very much empowering, and they're great in terms of the uplift they gave you in your day-to-day life. So come along, and very much for people who maybe have heard of Camphill over many years, come along and see for themselves and see the facilities and the brilliant service we offer.
Yeah, and it's also highlighting that sense of community and just kind of involving everyone to make that community what it is.
Yeah, and I have to acknowledge the people at Kildare here, because at the end of the day it was volunteers from Kildare who set this up in Dunshane 40 years ago, and we very much should remember those, and some of them may have passed away since then as well, obviously. So just to remember them, but also people even at any point, if they have volunteered with us, to come along on Thursday and to really just acknowledge the great work that people across Kildare have done in terms of supporting us, in terms of even volunteering or fundraising over the years.
Mm-hmm. And for people now listening who would like to attend on Thursday, is it ticketed, or can they just show up? No, they
can show up 12 to 4 in our Dunshane campus. Just you can look up camphill.ie, and also just say separately also as well that obviously in terms of recruitment, if it's anybody considering a career in care in whatever way that looks like, they can see our vacancies on camphill.ie, because I always have a great phrase: people have a caring spirit all their life, they just mightn't have realised it before now.
Yeah, and what are your hopes and plans for the future of Dunshane? You know, you're celebrating 40 years. You obviously hope to do another 40 years or more. Yeah,
well, look, in terms of in the most recent past, the brilliant thing over the last few years is the amount of work placements that people have gone to, and I think that's probably to continue. That is the first major thing. Obviously, to support people who obviously might be interested in availing of our services as well, and to future-proof the organisation for the next 40. As mentioned, huge structural changes have been done in Dunshane in the last couple of months, so that's about future-proofing it, just from an environmental point of view, for the next 40.
Absolutely. And for those maybe who won't be able to take part on Thursday, how can they find out more about, getting involved with Camphill and the Dunshane community? Yeah, very simply camphill.ie. So if you're interested in either applying for work and volunteering with us, just contact us there, and we'll be more than happy to hear from you. Amazing. And just one final reminder then, on Thursday, what time can people show up, and kind of what can be expected? Anytime between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m, and we'll have food and music throughout on the day. Well, it sounds like an amazing event, and is obviously highlighting the amount of work that the residents and the volunteers do there, John. And congratulations on 40 years of Dunshane. I'm sure you're very proud of yourselves. Yeah, and just to acknowledge as well the men's shed, as you mentioned, and the drama group as well, because that's, I suppose, putting on performances, and that's brilliant entertainment as well. Absolutely. John Sheridan, Head of Services at Camphill, as Camphill Dunshane in Brannockstown is celebrating its 40th anniversary with a special open day on Thursday. John, thank you so much for coming in this morning, for your time, and best of luck on Thursday.
Have your say now.